There are 5 things that I literally stopped caring about when I turned 50, and I'm so much better for it. One of the things that I stopped caring about in my 50s is what you're witnessing right here, and that was showing up on video. And it didn't matter if it was for my YouTube page, if it was on social media. I used to overthink that tremendously because, what if somebody thought I was too fat? What if somebody thought my hair was crazy? What if I couldn't do my makeup right? It was all the superficial things that I was worrying way too much about. But when I decided to start my business, where I was sharing about and coaching people through midlife transitions, I was able to take myself out of the equation. And I started to remember why I was doing it. And I realized that there were people that were waiting to be served with my gifts, with whatever experiences that I had to share. And when I start thinking about them and how I have to show up to be the person they need me to be, I stopped caring about that superficial stuff. In the way that those folks that were complete strangers from around the world, from around the country, were able to find me was by showing up on camera, whether it was here on YouTube, whether it was on Instagram or Facebook. That's how they would find me. And the worries about what I looked like and would they like me, it just kind of faded into the background. And I'm glad about that. Second thing that I was really able to stop caring about in my 50s was this fear of being too much. And pretty sure that you have some experiences that you could probably think about where you had something to say and you stopped yourself, or you had this really loud, fabulous outfit that you were dying to wear and you second guessed it. Or maybe you were in a meeting and felt like, okay, I'm talking too much, I'm taking up too much space, but your ideas probably would have carried the team across the finish line of whatever goal they were trying to achieve. Yeah, that I went through that a lot. And it was always this fear that maybe I was just, putting too much attention on myself. And some of that stuff is just not even about you. It's this fear of people not liking you and getting over that people pleasing, getting over that fear of being disliked. That really started to fade away naturally in my 50s. I don't think I really put any effort towards it. I think it's just once you've experienced enough, once you've been through so many situations and you just grow with more strength and wisdom based on the challenges you've overcome in your younger years, you just stop worrying about will they like me or not? Or can I say this in a way that it won't hurt everybody's feelings? All of that just fell to the wayside. And there are more situations than not where that benefited me than it didn't. So I'm very grateful that that is something that I was able to just beautifully let go in my 50s. The next thing that I'm really, really glad that I was able to stop caring and worrying about is this. I am so glad that I stopped covering up my natural hair. And like so many Black women, I think we all could probably teach our own masterclass of how we spent childhood into adulthood frying, straightening, coloring, doing all of these things to tame our natural texture of our hair. And I'm no different. Spent a lot of time, doing all the things, the flat iron, the chemical straightening, the gelling and the over slicking back, pulling at my scalp, putting all that tension on my scalp, trying to make it do something that it naturally didn't want to do. And so much of that was to make myself pleasing to other groups that didn't understand Black hair, that didn't appreciate Black hair. And yeah, we're in a time right now where all of that is embraced, where people are celebrating women that are wearing their natural hair, but that wasn't always the case. And if you're in your 50s and 60s, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that there was a very narrow standard of beauty that we were all expected to try to shrink into. And it just wasn't realistic. And we did more damage to ourselves, not just in our physical appearance, but now also with our inner health that we're discovering now with better science and research. So it's something that I'm very glad that I was able to do, and it made me more self confident as a result of it. I was able to show up more as my authentic self. I was able to really appreciate my natural qualities in a way that my younger self would have been ashamed of. So, something that I'm very grateful for. And I step into it fully now as a 50 something year old woman. The next thing that I am glad I stopped caring about in my 50s was this this sense of busyness. And let me break down what I mean by that, because when you talk to people and you say, "Hey, what's been going on?" "Oh, I've just been so busy." "Oh, things have been so busy." And we wear that like some kind of badge of honor. If we're busy, then that means we're needed. That means that we're being utilized to the fullest. Oh, yeah, whatever the things, there's just some type of value or worthiness that we attach to always being busy and doing multiple things at the same time. And one thing I discovered about myself in my 50s, which, kind of dovetail point, is being able to lean into my creative side. And I've never really felt in my entire life, even through childhood, I never felt like a very creative person. But I do embrace that, and I'm going all the way in on that as someone in midlife, especially with digital creation. I love, love all the things that I'm able to create literally out of nothing and make it into something beautiful or useful or transformational for other people. And that is something, because of that focus on my creative pieces, my creative task, it requires me to be singularly focused on one thing at a time, to be able to produce it to fidelity, to some quality standard that I hold myself to. And it's a challenge at times, but it's so worth it. And I try to protect that flow state that I'm able to get myself into. Now, if I try to multitask, if I try to do a bunch of different things at the same time, then I realize that I'm really not finishing anything. I'm really not doing as good of a job because nothing is holding my full attention. So when I need to focus, when I need to get something cranked out, everything else gets turned off. The phone goes in the other room. The TV is turned off. I tell everybody, "Hey, you're not going to find me for the next hour or whatever. I'm going to be focusing." And I'm okay saying that and demanding the protection of my time, because being the busy person or whatever, I have no desire to present that version of myself to anybody else, because I know that nothing good comes out of it when I'm trying to prove how busy I am to the outside world. The next thing that I am really, really, really benefiting from over and over again is not caring about stuff. And let me talk a little bit more about that, because if you follow this channel, if you follow me on social media, then you've heard me talk about decluttering in midlife. It is something that is one of the pillars of my midlife transformation framework, is not filling your home space with a lot of clutter, a lot of stuff. And the reason for that is because number one, there is a physical and emotional toll that we are putting on ourselves by having a very cluttered home space. You're not able to really just branch out and be free, because you're literally being weighed down on with the physical things, the physical items that are in your life. And I will link a video about how we were able to declutter and eventually downsize our homes, and it truly transformed everything about our lives. I will link that here and also in the show notes. But I tell you that one thing I will say is, I had a habit. I was a Target girly, where I would truly go into Target every single week. And I didn't necessarily have anything that I needed to buy. I just wanted to walk by the candle section. I wanted to go see the towels. I wanted to just browse through some of the cheap jewelry and the yoga pants, stuff that I already had, but I just wanted to go to a place where I could just see what was new. And by the time you finish strolling up and down every aisle in those types of stores, my store was Target, your store may be something else, where it's just kind of a guilty pleasure. And you don't just go there and walk through the aisles. You're putting little things in. Oh, it's only $5. Oh, it's only $15. Oh, yeah, I think I need that extra XYZ. And before you know it, you've spent $200 that of stuff that you didn't necessarily have to have. Your house was not going to fall in on itself if you didn't bring home that new Christmas ornament or that specific watermelon scented candle. It depends. It depends on what your needs hierarchy is or not. But I was recognizing that I was doing these things, just bringing home junk. And as a result of it, my pocketbook would get lighter and lighter every time I would do that. So when I decided to reverse it, when I decided to embrace this minimalism mindset and just clear a lot of those things out of my home, I didn't want to go to those places that would cause me to reaccumulate more stuff that I'd already offloaded. So being able to let that go was very freeing. And as a matter of fact, when I go shop, well, when I do get things, it's truly just a lot of stuff out of necessity. But something else that I've adopted in this season of life is that I no longer do gifts. You're probably thinking, oh my God, she doesn't buy gifts. I buy Christmas gifts or birthday gifts for, like, my young nieces and nephews, young cousins, people that don't have a job, basically. But as far as, like, Christmas presents for other adults, birthday presents for other adults, I let that go. I don't do that anymore. And if I want to celebrate someone on their special day, I will take them to dinner, or we meet up for coffee, or we have some type of experience together where we go out and do a fun thing. But going to a store to buy them a sweater or buy them a candle or whatever, I just don't do that. If you've got a job, if you're independent adult or whatever, I trust that you will take care of those consumer needs. But at least for me, if I want to celebrate you, then I want to have a shared beautiful experience with you, but not with stuff. So all that being said, letting go of that hyper consumerism, letting go of the clutter, that is something that I'm so glad that I just don't care about anymore in my 50s. And I will say the final thing that kind of wraps it all up, but that brings it all together for me, is just this overall sense that I'm putting my real needs first. I will say that the things that I let go of were very much superficial, both in, things, in worry, things that just didn't matter in the greater sense of my existence. I was really able to get more in tune with how I wanted to grow as an adult, the experiences that I wanted to have, the places that I wanted to go in this season. And it just kind of changed everything. It flipped my whole mindset about all of that. And I will tell you that if you're maybe struggling with this, if there's something that you're thinking, I want to do that decluttering thing, I want to get into that minimalism mindset, then I definitely encourage you to take a look at my ebook. I actually wrote an ebook about decluttering for midlife downsize. And I also have a video that I will link at the end of this so that you can take a look at it. All of those things will hopefully bring you into greater alignment with what you truly want to embrace in this season, because I encourage you, go out there and be selfish. Once you discover what it is that you truly want, then go straight there, aim for that, and be intentional with everything that you're doing in this season. Because I truly believe that midlife, that it is a finite amount of years that we have between our hustle years and our caregiver years, where we can just take care of what is important to us. And I would love to help you through that. If you're struggling with it, if you think you need that additional support, definitely reach out to me. But right now, something that doesn't cost you any time or any money is just to make a comment below. Tell me, what is it about you in your 50s, in this season of midlife, that you are so grateful that you no longer care about? And how are you better for it? I would love to hear from you. I hope that you are intentional about designing the midlife journey of your dreams. And I would love to continue on this journey with you. So please stick around and watch the next video for more inspiration.